Spin the Rock podcast. I'm your host, Angel. With me today are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
All right. Well, we have a lot of playoff talk to get into. These playoffs have been pretty insane so far, just only in the first round. But before we get into that, some awards have been announced. So why don't we go over that and see exactly, the finalists, winners? Because I know some have been named, some haven't. We'll just make our way from, I guess, least, depending on how you see it, to best. We'll just work our way up. First off, I don't think Coach of the Year has been announced, but we have the finalists are JB Bickerstaff on the Pistons, Mitch Johnson for the Spurs, Joe Mazzulla again for the Celtics. How do y'all? Who do y'all think should win it? How do y'all feel about the finalists?
Who was the first one you named? Sorry.
JB Bickerstaff for the Pistons,
Oh, then who was the second one you named?
Mitch Johnson for the Spurs.
Okay.
I feel like you can't go wrong with any of these picks because, no one expected Pistons first seed. Spurs, we were expecting them to be competitive, but not, this high up in the West of all places. And then Celtics, of course, lost a lot of their roster. Jason Tatum was gone most of the season. And then they're also second seed. So I can't be mad with any of them. Obviously, I'm going to rock with my coach. Uh, Got to be one of the most quotable coaches on planet Earth. The shit he says, and as much as he probably wouldn't, care to even receive it, I think he's stated like he's got no love for the award. It would be funny to see like him have to do some sort of speech if he did get it.
Very it would be very ironic. Um I think I feel like Bickerstaff is the most deserving only because the even though the Eastern Conference is a cakewalk of a conference, it's still hard being the top of your conference, let alone arguably the second best team in the league. Like at one point, they almost beat the Thunder for best team in the league at one point. So, um, plus I feel like the comeback that they've made within these past couple years, just the turnaround that they've made in that organization, I feel like that should get recognized. Kind of like when the Thunder coach won, was it last year or a couple years ago? Um, So, yeah, I feel like it should go to JB, but what Vaughn said is correct. Like, whoever wins is also very deserving because the Spurs coach as well, you know, they haven't been or they didn't start all that competitive early in the season, and then once they got, mid to late season, they started kind of catching fire and things like that. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I think JB. It's got to be JB or Joe. One for a bigger staff like Eugene kind of just said, like the turnaround that the Pistons have done since he's been at the helm, going from eighth, not even going from probably the worst team in NBA history, or on the verge of being the worst team in NBA history, to eighth seed to first seed in a span of 3 years, is insane, bro. Like that's not like something that just happens. And it's definitely got to be not only on his part, but just the way the players have kind of rallied around him as well. But like Vaughn mentioned with Joe Mazzulla, most people thought they would be fighting for play-ins at best. You know, maybe tanking to get the lottery pick. Fast forward to a couple months later, they're the second seed. With Jason Tatum back on the court already, with a chance to be considered a contender. So to still have a team that can compete as well as they did with losing maybe not like 3 stars, but a solid role player, the guy you won a championship with, and the face of your team, like all gone within like 3 months, to still get second seed is so insane. I feel bad for Mitch Johnson because he's a good coach, and like what he's doing with the Spurs is really impressive. But at the same time, I just feel like Joe and JB Bickerstaff had just had an insane turnaround and exceeded way more expectations than the Spurs really did. So I mean, I'll be happy with either of these guys, but yeah, I think if I had to put my money on someone, it would probably be JB Bickerstaff. Like that, he really has done a lot for Detroit. All right, next up, clutch player of the year. This one has been announced for a winner. So the finalists were Anthony Edwards, SGA, and Jamal Murray. SGA was announced the winner. Um, how do y'all feel about this award as a whole? Because I know some people are kind of looked down upon this award. They kind of don't take it as seriously as the other ones. And then also, how do you feel about SGA winning?
I feel like it's one of those awards. It's going to take time for people to truly accept it. I think you would know when people truly accept it when there's outrage about this guy got it over this guy. Uh, more than so in the past. SGA winning it makes sense. I know Jamal Murray and both him and who was the other guy?
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. Yes, of course. Like they're always got their hand in the pot in the fourth quarter, especially in those big moments. But SGA, like it's so hard to stop him. It's near impossible because if he's not going past you, he's hitting the midi. Not hitting the midi, he's drawn the foul. It's enough to frustrate entire teams. So
As we
so it
probably
makes sense he's the winner.
Yeah, as we probably will get into when we talk about the Suns Thunder team. But like yeah, like you said, in the fourth quarter, he's kind of like a menace, bro. He's either gonna make the shot or he's gonna draw a foul. And either way, like that's gonna be important in those close fourth quarter games. Anthony Edwards is showing why he was a finalist right now in the playoffs, is completely taking over in these fourth quarters. And Jamal Murray is clutch, but like I don't know, bro. I think compared to the other two, he doesn't like necessarily take over as much. He just stays efficient and he can really just win a game for his team. But I think SGA coming away with the win makes sense. I mean, that man, we've seen it time after time the way that man can completely turn a game around in the fourth.
I mean, y'all both took the words out of my mouth. I kind of agree with Vaughn in terms of how people currently view this award. Because I feel like because it's so new, people aren't really going to take it seriously. But then, probably like 10, 15 years down the line, once we see who actually wins this award, we're gonna be like, yo, like those players are like clutch. Like that's the definition of clutch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like SGA was also deserving of this award. Not that Ant or Jamal were necessarily less deserving, but it's like if you're going down the stretch in the fourth quarter, who are you passing the ball to if they're all on the same team? Most likely SGA because he's making those shots. And he made a lot of those shots this season. Um, but also I feel like, you know, as as strong as the Thunder are, it's I feel like it's interesting that he was in the mix because, we've seen the Thunder this season particularly blow teams out like literally out of the water.
yeah,
So I feel like it's interesting to see that Shea was in this race given how strong the Thunder are, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. All right, and then sixth man of the year, the finalists are Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaime Jaquez, and then Keldon Johnson came away with the win. um, I just died. How do y'all feel about the winners and the finalists for this award? Do you think Keldon Johnson deserved it?
I'm not gonna lie, I was very out of tune with this award, but I'm glad that Keldon Johnson finally got his flowers because I feel like he's been very underrated since he's been in the league, and probably even still is after winning this award.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, you said Jaime Jaquez and Tim Hardaway.
yeah.
Mhm.
Where does Tim Hardaway play?
I think for
Nuggets.
the Nuggets.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Do you think he was deserving to be a finalist, Angel?
Oh, for sure. He's been one of the few bright spots in this playoffs. I know I keep talking playoffs um, way before than we're supposed to, but like I personally was a hater of him joining the Nuggets when we picked him up because I honestly thought he wouldn't really provide anything that we need. But he's been a very pivotal part of the Nuggets for a while this season. I don't know if he should have won per se, but I think he definitely deserves being a finalist.
And then Jaime Jaquez, he had a pretty strong season,
Yeah,
with the Heat. So hopefully, he just continues to get better and better because I've been pretty high on him since he came out of the draft. So, um, but yeah, yeah, I was pretty out of tune with this race, but I was surprised to see on my phone that Keldon Johnson won.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear who the finalists were because, every guy's got usually at least one good bench guy. I'm like, I don't even know who would be top of these discussions. But then seeing when they were announced, like the stats and the team success makes sense. I think Keldon Johnson is the right man for this award, considering like I feel like he's such a pivotal part of the Spurs rotation. You miss his presence when he's gone. And I do like the things Tim Hardaway Jr. has been doing on the Nuggets. I'm surprised it's been as good as it is. But there are some times I feel like he gets shut out of certain games.
mm,
But at the same time, I don't think those expectations are quite as high if he were a starter, for
yeah,
instance. And Jaime Jaquez, as much as I love him, the Heat, weren't the same team as the Nuggets or the Spurs this season. Maybe I can't put all that blame on Jaime Jaquez, but it wouldn't feel right if he won it over the other guys. I feel.
yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to add. Like I said, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been a bigger surprise to me because I was kind of a hater on the pickup. He's been a bright spot just all season, and then especially in the playoffs. Kind of like you guys said about Jaime, I don't really have anything to add there. Keldon, though, I mean, I think it's kind of a no-brainer for him to get Six Man of the Year because he's only coming off the bench because of De'Aaron Fox, and um, this man has been a pivotal part of the Spurs almost his entire career. Like even before Wemby joined, it was on Keldon Johnson to like do something with the Spurs. And I kind of even said when Chris Paul first joined him that he's gonna benefit from Chris Paul being there. And I feel like it definitely has shown this year how well he is at running the floor and just like being the main ball handler when he is in the game. I think he definitely would be probably, if not a starter at the very least, a main point of an offense if it wasn't like any other team, you know. So I think Six Man of the Year is definitely deserved for how well he's been playing and how just important he is to the Spurs. He's almost like not even a six man. He's almost like a starter at times. He gets more minutes than probably most of the other six men that's up for this award.
Oh, and one thing to tack on, I think he has the most points off the bench in a season, which is surprising because Manu was that guy off the bench.
Yeah,
So that's something to praise.
yeah, for sure.
Or even like a Jamal Crawford too.
Yeah.
Right, right.
All right, and then most improved player. The finalists were Jalen Duren, Danny Avia, and then Nikhil Alexander Walker walked away with the win. I actually had beef with this award. Why don't y'all go first, though?
I I made a prediction that Ryan Rollins would be here. I feel like he could still make a case, considering no one knew who he was, and then he turned into this 18-point scorer, a decent assist. Okay, he's not on the list. Nikhil Alexander Walker, although, is a guy I do want to see on the list. Like he's pretty well into his career and took a huge step up to fringe all-star numbers, which like that's even in the award history of most improved player isn't always you don't see that jump. So I'm impressed. I think he does deserve it. I see the case for Denny Avia being like a guy you didn't really hear about back when he was on the Wizards to like an all star, full fledged all star. Uh, basically the one option on the Trailblazers. Now they're a playoff team, so I could see the justification for that as well. Jalen Duren, also big jump, but I remember he had semi big expectations being on the Pistons. I feel like I would have liked a lesser known guy on here, but there's also a justification to be made. But I'm not mad at Nikhil Alexander Walker winning. Uh, it's deserved.
I also kind of think with Jalen Duren, I feel like it's kind of hard to win this award as a one seed in your conference. Um, just naturally because you guys play so well, so it's kind of expected for you to play well. Um, but like for the Hawks, nobody's taking them really seriously, even with how well they're playing right now. Nobody's really taking them seriously, and nobody is taking the Trailblazers seriously either. But the jumps between with Denny and Nikhil have been tremendous from the previous teams that they've been on to where they're currently at right now. Nikhil Alexander Walker has jumped in every single category significantly from last season, which has been impressive. I put him in my top 25 playoff um playoff players last week. And I feel like this shows why I put him there. And then but like not to mention though, all three of these players were somewhere in our list. Or one or the other list. Um but yeah, I feel like he was very deserving of this award, and I think it was a long time coming because it was seen pretty early from the start.
Um, I'm not mad at Nikhil Alexander Walker winning at all because he's the only actual guy who deserves to be here, bro. None of the other two are actually improved players. Like, let's be honest. At this year, the most improved player award list feels like guys who like were already semi good, just got a little bit better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Avia last year could have been a nominee and could have won, and I would have accepted it. But he was already pretty decent like 2, 3 years ago. Jalen Duren has been decent almost the entire time on the Pistons. He just has grown his role a lot more. But it's like last year he was just as good. He's just a little bit better. And so I feel like this year it just felt like guys who like were already really decent players just took another step. And that's like if we gave Blake Griffin the most improved player award when he was on the Pistons and he went to the playoffs, you know? Like it's like he was always good. He just took a different step and he just elevated his game just a tiny bit more. And that's how I feel with everyone but Nikhil Alexander Walker. Cause like I feel like if he didn't win, I would have been even more mad at this year's award. So I'm glad he did because he's the only one who I feel like has taken a significant jump, like Eugene said. He's taken a step in every single stat. And it's not just like Denny and Jalen where they got in a little bit better in a few stats here and there. It's like, no, Nikhil Alexander actually went from probably a role player to like a solidified, like Vaughn said, a fringe all star. And like the other guys, like I said, have always been somewhat decent. So I feel like this year's
Yeah,
award nominees have been like, I'm kind of disappointed because there's a lot of guys who definitely deserved to be at least finalists and could have maybe even won it over Alexander Walker himself. You know?
It definitely does
yeah.
seem like there's a lot of filler people.
Yeah,
Like they didn't know who to throw in, so
yeah,
they just threw in one or two people.
This is one of those awards that feels like I feel like the voters don't care as much. because
Yeah.
like John Morant has won this award, and it's goes back to your discussion of like guy who's already good. Like it's a promising player who's been trending upwards for years. I don't feel like that is most improved player. Like Nikhil Alexander Walker was a role player for years. Like on the Minnesota, he found his role. Pelicans gave up on him. And he's kind of been in the league for years. And then not only does he take a jump, he's taking more shots, he's scoring more, but he's also more efficient doing so. Like that was completely unexpected, and that's who the award I feel like should be for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many guys, like you said, Ryan Rollins should have at least been a nominee. Like, even not like to say Bones should have been a nominee, but Bones Highland has also kind of like taken a 180. Like he went from no playtime to the Nuggets, very disappointing on the Clippers, to a role player on the Timberwolves. And actually
Mhm.
getting some playing time. I mean, we can go on forever to guys who've taken a jump, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like they put Denny and Jalen Duran on here because they went from like good on their team to all stars. And I feel like, yes, that's very impressive and they should get their flowers, but that doesn't mean they're most improved. Like, that doesn't mean that, like, they took a huge step or anything. I feel like they've always been solid guys. And like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad, like, don't get me wrong, like, Nikhil Alexander Walker does deserve it, but I think he's the only one who deserves it in the first place compared to the rest of the finalists.
Yeah. Like what you're trying to say is like it should be more or less like unexpected in the way they improved.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
for Denny and Jalen, it was always expected that they were probably going to be all stars at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like Denny, technically, I mean, compared to last year, I think he has like what, just like an extra 2 points here, an extra rebound, maybe a few more assists, and all of his stats. Like if he played the way he played last year, he would still be a solid guy. Like yeah, I don't, like I don't know. So it is very confusing this year, the most improved, because we've gotten some really good names on this list, like Laurie Markkinen. Like that's a most improved player, like a guy who was on his way out of a league, like complete 180. So I don't know. Maybe I care about this award a little too much. All right. And then the last announced award before we get into awards that haven't been announced yet and maybe predictions. Defensive Player of the Year. It was Chet Holmgren, Asar Thompson, and Victor Wembanyama. And of course, Victor Wembanyama not only won the award, but he's the first ever guy to do so unanimously. So not a single person didn't vote for him in first place. How do y'all feel about not only that news, but him winning?
If he was half the defensive player he is today, I think he'd still win it. He is so intimidating. Like he could be in the paint and your 3 point shot's still not safe. He has a chance to block that. Um, like I don't even know how you plan and scheme to score around this guy. He's one of one because not only the 7 footer, crazy wingspan, but he can move. He's fast. And I'm not just looking at he's got 3 blocks a game. I'm like a guy will dribble, see him, and dribble back out. Like he's that much of a threat. And I know Chet, plays very good help defense, also very good timing on the defensive end as well. But he's also surrounded by crazy good defenders. Asar Thompson also, really good in respect to his position, but it's just not the same gravity that Wemby has been playing with. Like, there's a reason he almost won it last year as well. But I feel like this is the first of many awards for Wemby.
Yeah, especially Depoy. He might end up getting more than Rudy has, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean, and you were just talking about his ability and not even the actual stats. Like he's breaking records, bro. Um, so I mean, it goes to show like how powerful of a player he is, given that it was a unanimous decision. But I also think like everyone in the league saw that coming. Like when you think the Spurs, you think Wemby, and when you think Wemby, primarily you think of his defense. So I mean, I'm happy to see it. Nothing else needs to be said, to be
Yeah,
honest.
bro. There's not much there's no really deep thoughts you can have on Wemby on his defense, just because he's not a sneaky defensive player, bro. Like that man is jumps off of the court with how good his defense is, and it's not just like his blocks, but also his ability to make a guy like Vaughn kind of said, dribble out, pick up the ball, hesitate. He also can guard so well without fouling, which I feel like for a 7 footer, like it's so easy to try to draw fouls off of him, but he just really doesn't. And there's just so many clips you can point out that just it's freak of nature defensive ability, where there's times where he's basically taking blocks without even jumping, bro, just stretching out his hands and stopping a shot from inches away. Like that man has shown that he's a menace around all areas of the court on defense. Yeah, I have nothing else to add that you guys didn't say. I'm not surprised he won unanimously, but I'm also not. I'm also just shocked that it happened so quickly. This is a guy in his third year, and he has been breaking records left and right. Like any day now, he's gonna break the record for most blocks in the game, average the most blocks. Like that man has been averaging 3 blocks for his entire career. It's insane. Yeah, I think he definitely does have a chance at beating Rudy, which is I don't think would have ever happened in my lifetime. But it's just there's no way he declines. He's only getting better year after year. All right, and then our last two awards haven't been announced yet. I'm sure Rookie of the Year is gonna get announced as before this episode comes out. MVP doesn't get announced until conference finals, so we're still pretty far away from that being announced. But Rookie of the Year nominees is VJ Edgecombe, Cooper Flag, and Con Knuppel. How do y'all feel about this finalist, and who do you have winning in your eyes?
I actually really like these finalists, and I feel like at the start of the season, none of us really knew who was going to be in this race. I don't think we could have predicted who was going to be in this race at the start of the season. But with how the season unfolded, it makes sense why all three of these players are here. I really want to make a case for Khan, but I think it'll go to VJ. I don't think Cooper I think Cooper played well, but not well enough where did anything for the Mavericks. It just reflected more on himself rather than the team, which I mean that ultimately depends on the voters and how they see fit. But I feel like VJ, his performance helped the Sixers elevate their game a lot more than Pons did for the Hornets. Um, so I feel like VJ is more deserving of it, but I want to hear your thoughts too.
I kind of want Con Canupo to win because he's had the best 3 point shooting rookie season ever. If he keeps this pace up, he has a chance, at Curry's records. Now, we'll have to see how it plays out. Does he have a 20-year career or not? But just based on the sample size, he's been a part of the Hornets that have looked their most competitive in years, and I think he's a big, big piece of that. And it kind of just is a bright spot for their future going forward. Because they've had promising guys in the past before, but it's nothing felt like it's changed, and this is the closest we have been to that change. I think the media loves Cooper Flag though, and I think they were kind of talking themselves into giving Rookie of the Year around All Star break. and then that 50-point game happened. Oh, that's all I heard about, for that week. So I think they're going to give it to him. But I do love VJ as a pick as well because, well, Joel Embiid has missed so much of the time, and it felt like you don't expect a rookie to pick up the piece of a former MVP, and it felt like he has. He's been a very good supporting member to Tyrese Maxey. So I can't be mad at that pick either. But I do think Khan would be my choice.
Yeah, as a Hornets fan, I gotta go with my boy Con Canupo. I mean, that man. I my only I agree with both of you that I think Cooper Flag is gonna win it, and it makes me so angry because I feel like there's times where the media just like has their idea of rookie of the year before the year even starts, and they stick with that guy. And the only
Mm.
times those guys don't end up winning it is if they perform poorly. Like we saw it with Lamelo Ball. We've seen it multiple times. To where like they were with that they did it with Ben Simmons. Like they do it every year where they have the guy in their mind and they just stick with him. And if he performs even somewhat decently, he wins it. Um,
Yeah, bro. Paulo over Benedict Mathurin. I
yeah,
remember we were so heated over that. Yeah.
yeah. Like they do it all the time. So I think Cooper Flag is gonna win it, but I think Concanapple is the only guy here who's been playing at the level he's been playing all year long. VJ Edgecombe at the beginning of the season was insane. He looked like a superstar. Then he kind of dropped off, and then he found his way back. Cooper Flag, at the beginning of the season, didn't look that good, and it wasn't his fault. It was the way the Mavericks were using him.
It was the
Yeah,
Mavs.
the Mavs were just using him so poorly, having him play a traditional role when he's not a traditional like forward. Like he's definitely like the main ball handler. He's an inside out scorer. They weren't using him that way, and so he just looked kind of poor at the beginning of the season. Eventually, they let him play the way he wants to play, and now he looks a lot better. And now he looks like a rookie of the year. Um, so I just feel like Concanapple was the only guy here who was like came into the league, was on fire, and never really like slowed down. Like I think him and Lamelo were literally shooting threes to beat each other out for most threes made this year, bro. Like they were in their own race. Hornets actually like looked like they could make it to the playoffs this year. Like it was insane how well they've been playing, and it's a large part to not only Lamelo Ball finally being healthy for most of the year, but also Concanapple just adding so much offense to their team. Um, like I'm not mad at VJ Edgecombe, I'm not mad at Cooper Flag, but I just think he should be the guy to win it, and I just don't think he will be because of just the media's way of choosing rookie of the year. I do have to apologize to Cooper Flag too because I said he won't even be a finalist. Because
But I mean, okay, but to be fair though, like he was really not looking like the Cooper Flag that we knew in college.
yeah,
And with the way the Mavs were just using him, like it didn't even look like
he would have
it
a
was gonna be a
chance.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like because I said at the time too. I said, and it's not because of the way he's playing. It's because of the way the Mavericks are using him. And like that just goes to show, bro, that like it really just depends on how you're developed. But I don't know, bro. I really want VJ or Khan just because I feel like they have been playing better overall. But I feel like we all said, it's most likely going to be Cooper Flag. All right, and then MVP. This one is SGA, Jokic, and once again, Wembanyama is up for MVP. Or I mean, once again, he's up for another award. Who do y'all have winning? Who do y'all have taking away this award? And how do you feel about the finalists?
I'll say that I'm more or less surprised with Wemby being up there as a was it a 4 seed?
I think they're actually third.
Are they 3rd seed? Regardless, I'm kind of surprised he's up there, and I'm also very surprised that it's 3 Western Conference players. Um,
Yeah.
Normally there's at least one Eastern Conference. Whether it's just like whoever's sitting up in 1 or 2 seed. but I don't know. Like I feel like maybe a Cade should be up there. Maybe a Jalen Brown should be up there. Um, and I feel like it's kind of unfair in that fact that it is three Western Conference players, even though the Western Conference is a much harder conference to get through. Um, it's still not easy being a 1 or 2 seed in either conference. Um, but Wemby, I'm particularly surprised about only because it's his third year and just the progression that he's made. Like it makes sense. Um, but that's just like a personal thing, just me being surprised. And then Shea and Jokic obviously are gonna be up there probably for the next few years as well.
Yeah,
Um, but the thing is, like, bro, like they keep improving. Like, so I feel like this year there's no really telling who's gonna win. It's literally just gonna be voter bias. Whoever the voters want is is literally what's gonna happen. Me personally, I'm gonna always ride the shade train. I want Shea to win. He's been literally playing out of his mind this season. Um, I think this is his best career season so far, stats wise. So, um, yeah, I'm always be on the SGA train, bro.
yeah. Um, I do like how you said Cade and Jalen Brown should at least be up there because I was thinking Luca. So I was thinking Luca should be in there instead of Wemby, and so it'd still be all three Western Conference guys. But like you're right. Like I am surprised Wemby's up there. I mean, he definitely it deserves to at least be in the talks of it. Like I think everyone you named, like Cade, Jalen Brown, also should be at least talks. They're probably sitting at 4 or 5. Luca's probably at 3. I also wonder if it's because Cade and Luca were ruled out. So maybe because they had to appeal to be considered for awards, that they maybe like already had finalists in mind before the appeal. I don't know if that actually is a thing or not. I'm just talking out of my ass. But like that's what I'm thinking maybe. But I think if I had to choose a finalist, it would be Jokic, SGA, Luca. I don't think Luca's ever gonna win an MVP, bro. Which we can get into that afterwards. But like, my pick is SGA. I think he should win MVP. He's once again the 1 seed. At one point, we were talking about the Thunder having a better record than the Warriors, and they were on track to have a better record than that Warriors team. Um, I think SGA is the second best player in the like. I think SGA is the best player in the league, and probably one of the best players during the regular season. But I think Jokic is. I had him as number 1 in my playoff because I think Jokic is just a different beast during the playoffs. But I honestly think SGA should go back to back this year. Wemby, definitely, I'm not mad at. But yeah, I think Cade might have been ruled out because of that initial appeal he had to do. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I it's probably true because I don't know when they locked in the names.
Yeah,
They never like announced that sort of thing, so I'm sure that played a deal into it. I don't want to rule out Wemby only because they've made it so high in the standings, and he's been like the best defender, and it's not like he's a scrub on offense either.
yeah,
So I do see the case. Uh, I expect SGA will go back to back. I think Jokic being in here in these talks is a formality. I feel like it's in that same regard as like Giannis won his, the voter fatigue set in. LeBron won his, the voter fatigue set in. That's the same deal with Jokic. But Jokic might be the MVP, bro. 27 a game, 13 rebounds, almost 11 assists. It's like this is better than his MVP seasons if you look at it. Um, but I'm not when SGA holds up the trophy this year. I'm not gonna be angry that the best player on the best team won at the end of the day. So that's kind of how I expect things will go.
and I do want to get into it before we go into some playoff talks. Do you think Luca will win an MVP, bro? Like this man has been in talks, finalists, like maybe at one point even top of the ladder. But time after time, we either see someone win it above him, or he's injured, or whatever may be the case. Do you think we'll ever see Luca win MVP?
I think he's too good of a player to not, but now it's really looking like
It's gonna
it's
be
gonna be
scary.
one of those. Yeah, it's looking like it's gonna be one of those sympathy Kobe Embiid MVPs. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, we feel bad for you, so we'll just give you an MVP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, it it also kind of sucks because of the 65 game rule. I'm still here for it. Like, I'm not gonna talk down on it, but I think that does play a big part of of the whole award itself, of just getting the award. So it's like I think that is going to be the only thing that if he walks away from the league and doesn't win an MVP, I think that's the only reason why he doesn't get it. Not necessarily because of his play or like anything else. It's just because he didn't play 65 games that season, or I guess in any season. But
Yeah, he definitely feels like a player who should have multiple MVPs. Like, if he was going to have an MVP season, it feels like it'd be that time. Like he had over 30 points a game, almost 10 assists, 10 rebounds, and it just hasn't happened. He keeps getting beat out some way or another. It would be, yeah, he's going to be a player. If he does have an MVP award, it will be like, all right, here's yours. You deserve it, I guess. Should have had one sooner, but you're getting yours now. Um, and if you tell anyone about the type of player he is, and what he's done so far, you would think he would already have, a couple under his belt already. But that's just, I don't know what the media, you know, dislikes about him, where it feels like he should be top three in certain years, and he just isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe him being in LA will, maybe shift that in his favor rather than being stuck in Dallas. But like he's done less with, or done more in Dallas with less. So I guess it's going to come down to Rob Palinka. What is he going to surround Luka Doncic to support him with? And because you know what you're getting out of Luka at this point, it's just a matter of whether the media agrees, he's that guy or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what he could even change about himself, to get that. Like people always complain about him, crying to the refs, but Jokic has done that plenty of times, and he's got multiple under his belt. So yeah, it's a question mark that I want answered. Like I don't know why he hasn't been, that MVP guy yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is. I honestly agree with you guys that it most likely will be an MVP, like Embiid type MVP, and he might only walk away with one, which is crazy to think. But like as time goes on, it's getting scarier and scarier that he hasn't won one, because it's not necessarily he's getting worse, but his best years are definitely like have gone.
now,
Yeah,
yeah,
like he's at MVP caliber. Like the past 3 years, we've been seeing MVP caliber play, and it's like how many like what else does he have to do? Like Vaughn said, there's not much more that man can add to his game to make him MVP. Like he's already at that level. So it's like I'm getting worried because I'm like, damn, not even a finalist. Like that kind of blows my mind. All right. Well, those are the awards. We will have to wait and see for MVP. Rookie of the Year might be announced sooner than we expect. But why don't we go ahead and take a look at the series so far? Usually we try to stay away from recapping every series one by one. But I think because we're so early into them, we can give our thoughts. And just because how crazy they've been. So why don't we make our way towards series that are further ahead. So we'll start with Lakers Rockets because they're already finished game three, and the Lakers are 3-0 right now. How have you felt about the Lakers Rockets? Are you surprised of how poor the Rockets have been? Are you surprised of how good the Lakers have been? And yeah, so what are your thoughts overall on this series?
Well, as the Laker fan,
Yeah,
bro, I told y'all, bro. I'm not worried about the Rockets. I will say, Game Three stressed me out, but I'm not worried about the Rockets, bro. And even if we lose Game Four, we're winning Game Five. Like it doesn't matter. Um, but I think the only thing that actually like scared me was we went to overtime with no KD. So, um, kind of given that fact is like, if slash when I don't know, like, do you guys know why he's out?
Um,
I think it
it's
was
some sort of leg injury.
yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was.
So right before game one, he picked up some form of I think it was ankle or hamstring injury
Hmm,
in like practice or warm up. So he got injured like right before the series started.
okay. So I mean, we'll see if he comes back within these next game or two. Um, but like if he does, it might make a difference in determining if the Rockets not necessarily see it through because we're gonna win the series, but make it further in the series. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, I saw this coming from a mile away. The Rockets are a fluke. They have been a fluke, and they always will be a fluke.
yeah. I have some apologies to the Lakers, bro, because I honestly thought I didn't think the Rockets would dog walk them, or maybe I did. But
Hey,
I
you put LeBron as your top 16 player in your top 25, bruh.
Yeah, bro. And LeBron, he hasn't been like outstanding, but he definitely is doing a lot more than I thought he would be doing, bro. Like he is this offensively is on a whole nother level right now. Just like getting these assists and like throwing lobs. Like that man has just been like found another notch in his game, which is like I'm not a LeBron hater, so I'm not salty about it. Like I love that he keeps adding to his like arsenal, but like I did not think he would turn into a playmaker this series, and he really has, bro. Um, I think the Rockets are doomed because even if KD comes back, the Rockets are kind of turning on him. Like we're getting press conferences, interviews before the game of guys like kind of saying like if KD wants this and this, he needs to do this and this, and like they're looking lost out there, bro. They're not playing like a team who's like they're looking like a team who just got put together. Like they're not playing well with each other. A lot of them are playing hero ball. KD is looking like he's iced out. They look lost a lot of the time. Meanwhile, the Lakers are looking more of a team than they ever had before, bro. They're playmaking. Bronny is getting involved. Luke Kennard is having legacy games. One of the best 3 point shooting performances we're seeing in the playoffs at the moment. And it's just been like a whole different. It's like the Lakers are coming together more than ever, and the Rockets are falling apart before our very eyes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this team blows up this offseason because they're turning on each other. They're looking lost. The coaching is head scratching. Um, Sengun is the only one who's looking somewhat respectable out there, but even then, he's not having that great of a season or
I'm like, he's
playoffs.
like a living meme right now.
Yeah, like it's kind of sad, bro, that the Rockets might be destroyed before they even got a chance to flourish.
I was all year long ignoring the Fred Van Vliet out for the year thing, but you can really tell they need a point guard, and they should have made a move, at the deadline, but they did nothing.
Yeah,
It's it's really frustrating because even if KD was playing, I wouldn't be afraid at this point. Game two, he played 9 turnovers. Like that's unacceptable.
yeah,
9 turnovers, and if you look at KD now, he hasn't won a playoff game since 2023. So how threatening is he really? Like we've given him just based on reputation, like this label that he's a scary guy to play against, but he really isn't. Look at it, his history. the past few years. Uh, Turnovers are bad. Um, Obviously, the end of overtime, game three was disastrous. I just you don't even need to pass, and then you threw it away. It's just so unbelievable. What I was watching that game, I'm like, yeah, I don't know how you come back and rally as a team, not just like from that game, but for next year.
Yeah.
I'm seeing posts that Alperen Şengün runs like he has titties, like he's got double D cups, and I can't unsee that now. He's so unathletic. I just, how has he gotten this far? I don't get it. And then the coach, Ime Doka, I'm getting flashbacks from 2022, losing against the Warriors. Like, yeah, he has some pretty good defensive schemes. He's, defensive minded in that regard. But the offense he runs, the game plan is like non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's infuriating. It doesn't help that there's very little shooters on that team. Like Tari Eason had a promising year, but then went a whole month without making a three, and it's kind of spilling over. Jabari, like he will shoot them, but I feel like if he's going to be your best shooter in a game, you don't have much hope. And then Reed Shepard is in his second year. It's like you should have made a move prior to this. Like that being your point guard, Amin Thompson, love him, can't shoot, save his life.
Dude, Amon
It's
Thompson
just
is
so much,
useless on offense.
just so much dysfunction. And you had 82 games to figure something out, and we're here at the playoffs, and it looks like nothing was figured out. So they've kind of made their own demons here, and I was really expecting this to be a competitive series between Lakers and Rockets, but getting dog walked, bro, that's just embarrassing.
Bro, Bronny James
Like,
was catching alley oop layups, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
yeah, I something big is going to shape the team for next year, and I don't know what's coming. If it's firing the coach, KD gone, out Shengun gone, I don't know what's happening, but something will happen.
Yeah, for sure. Don't you have an apology to make, Fawn?
Hell no, bro. Luke
Well,
Kennard. Oh, I have a problem with Luke Kennard. That man was 5 for 5 from 3-point range. That doesn't mean stop shooting. That means keep shooting, bro. You are a shooter. You take a look at his history. He doesn't shoot more than 6 threes a game. Someone on that locker room has to tell him to keep it up, bro. It's infuriating. Um, and I don't have an apology to Luke Kennard. I went down the whole roster. I'm like Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton. If I owe Luke Kennard apology, I owe the whole team apology. Can't do that.
I can't do that. I think it's your Celtics bias stopping you from apologizing to Luke Kennard.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need to apologize to the Lakers, bro, because I honestly, like I said, I didn't think they would get dog walked, but I also didn't think they would do this good. Like, not at one point did I go, a possibility is that they take a 3-0 lead and that LeBron James is the primary playmaker. Like, I definitely saw this team as, like, going to six and losing in six. Um, not not what's happening right now, which, like, I'm impressed, bro. Like I look at the Lakers and they're looking a lot better than I thought they did. And if Luka comes back at any point, they could be scary. But at the same time, it's just like no one could have seen it going this way, bro. Well, Eugene saw it going this way,
Yeah.
but, but like I think Eugene was one of the few people saw it going this way.
Hey, bro. All I gotta say is Luke Kennard, Rockets can't guard, shooting from a bar. Legacy bar.
And with that being said, let's go to another series that's not going the way we thought it would go. Switching over to the East, right now, Knicks and Hawks. Game three finished last night, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 days ago. I'm not too sure which one. I think it was 2 days ago. Knicks and Hawks. Atlanta leads the series 2-1, bro. Another, not a 4-5 matchup, but another matchup where I don't think anyone expected to go this way. How are y'all feeling about the series? How are y'all feeling about the Knicks? How are y'all feeling about the Hawks?
Knicks are always a fluke and always will be a fluke. My point is done.
Bro, I don't know what it is about this current Knicks team. I hate this current Knicks team. But
It's
even
it's not the team, bro. It's the franchise.
like we're no Knicks haters, bro. Like I don't think we ever shied away from the fact that none of us here like the Knicks or ever believe in the Knicks. I thought they were gonna be disappointing again. I didn't think it would happen in the first fucking round against the Hawks. Like that's crazy, bro. Like they look. Speaking of looking lost, I don't think I've seen a team who doesn't have a fourth quarter as poorly as the Knicks do, bro. It's like when the third quarter hits 0-0-0 and the fourth quarter sets 12-0-0, the Knicks go, oh shit, I didn't think we'd make it this far. And they start playing a completely different style of basketball. And it's not just the players. Even Mike Brown is looking like he doesn't know what to do in the fourth quarter. Oh, let me sit Jalen Brunson and Cat at the same time. Yeah, cause that makes sense, bro. Let's sit your 1-2 punch combo, probably the best pick and roll combo in the East. Let's sit them at the same time, so that way your team is just lost out there without your two main guys. That fourth quarter, I think it was specifically game 2, was the worst I've seen in a while, bro.
I, bro, you know what doesn't make sense is CJ McCollum being the big man in the clutch. It like I don't think the Hawks figured, oh, we're getting CJ McCollum. We got this reliable veteran who will carry us through certain games and playoffs. No, I don't even think they're expecting to sign that man back. He was a temp, and here he is making a statement, really trying to earn another big contract, um, and put him away in two games. It just whatever the Hawks are doing, I can't figure out what the biggest positive on their side is because like I thought, oh, maybe the Knicks can't contend with their size. CJ does his thing. Maybe they're just too quick. I'm like when they slow the game down, they don't look bad either. It's just all everything that could go wrong for the Knicks is going wrong, and it's looking like they also have some dysfunction going on because
Yeah,
Mikal Bridges didn't score like at all last game. Like he played like 15 minutes and coach was done with him. And the whole thing of sitting your two best players, that's questionable at best. Um, and it's really making me look bad, all the shit I used to say about Coach Tibbs, because he had the sauce, the secret sauce. And, this series isn't over. It's not like they're in a rocket situation down
yeah,
3-0. But it's looking pretty grim. It's really the Hawks series to lose at this point because the Knicks have to figure things out, whereas the Hawks could just do what they're doing now and be in an okay position. Um, Again, another situation where I'm like, what do you do if you're the Knicks? Because I think they've always had in the back of their heads, if something goes wrong, we could trade for Giannis, but you gave up 5 picks for Mikal Bridges. Like you have no assets for that at this point. Um, so it's looking like this is doomsday for them. But like I said, there's plenty of games to be played.
Yeah, that was like the realistic thing I was gonna say. I'm like the series we're entering game 4. It's 2-1. It's really still anyone's series. But if the Hawks win this next game, then it starts to look really scary for the Knicks.
yeah,
So Knicks got to come out firing on all cylinders for game 4, and just kind of play well from there. But we'll see what happens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you all said it. I think CJ McCollum is definitely the standout, which I don't think anyone like here would have thought. Cat has been looking really good, but it's just like it's not enough for the Knicks right now. And I hate to say it, but I think it's a combination of just like the players not living up to what they normally do, and then of course Mike Brown's Steve Kerr level of coaching right now, where he's just relying on like Jalen Brunson and Cat to do everything, but at the same time, this head scratching decisions time after time. Um, it's gotten to the point where people are saying Josh Hart's a role player on any other team. Like that's crazy, bro. So it's like I said, I think they're disappointing every year, but I didn't think it would happen this early on. All right. Um, Jumping back to the West, why don't we cover Nuggets Timberwolves? 'Cause I think Spurs Trailblazers is happening right now. So there's a chance that Spurs Trailblazers can finish.
It's Pistons and the Magic right now.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Never mind that. Yeah. So why don't we go Nuggets Timberwolves then? Anyways, um, Timberwolves are in the lead 2-1. How are y'all feeling about the Nuggets? How are y'all feeling about the Timberwolves? Bro, I guess I'll go first, bro. Dude, it's devastating. I don't know what's going on. I had people coming into my work saying they turned off the game during game 3. It's I knew it. I knew that this series would be a lot harder than people thought because it always is with the Timberwolves. They are our kryptonite. They're like the Warriors before we won the ship. Every time we saw the Warriors in the playoffs regular season, they made us look like we don't deserve to be contenders. Timberwolves are the new version of that, where they make us look like anyone who said the Nuggets were contenders a couple months ago didn't know that they need ball. I mean, you had Jaden McDaniels calling people out by their government name and then backing it up the next game. Rudy Gobert, who, yes, he's good defensively, but usually when you see a defensive, like a depoy versus an MVP, the MVP still has a good time. The depoy just makes his life harder. No, bro, he, almost shut down Jokic. Game 2, I think, was worse than Game 3 because it looks like the Nuggets gave up during Game 2. The fourth quarter, the minutes are going down. You have Jokic literally looking at a ball and Rudy Gobert getting a put back dunk on him. You had Jamal Murray settling for a long two in the final seconds of the fourth quarter. Um, it's just we're not looking like we're contenders, and that could be a lot of reasons. One, I personally didn't think we were contenders, but I also thought we were at least going to go to the conference finals. It's looking very scary right now. And then not only that, but it's just our defense is just as bad. Jokic is looking a little slower than usual. Jamal Murray is once again being very inconsistent. Our lack of bench depth is showing more than ever. And then you have that fucking dweeb looking motherfucker on the sidelines. Big eyed. Looks like he's just happy to fucking be there, David Adelman. Why did we keep him as a coach, bro? It boggles my fucking mind because every time they pan to him on the sideline, I get angry. As he looks like he's just I wonder if this will work. No, bro. Stop throwing shit at the wall in the middle of the fucking series. But yeah, how y'all feel about the Nuggets rules?
You know what this reminds me of, bro? When we had that Arthur looking ass motherfucker Darvin Ham, bruh. That's exactly what this is reminding me of. At least how you described it. I haven't been watching this series at all, but I the things that I have seen have been more Timberwolves highlight focused. I mean it makes sense given that they're winning the series, but I mean a lot of these games that we're talking about are tied 2-1 currently. Um, so there's still a lot of basketball to be played left.
Yeah.
To be played left. There's still a lot of basketball to be played. I don't know why I said left. Um, but I don't know. It seems like the Timberwolves are just destined to always make it past the first round and then just kind of fizzle out from there. They play their best basketball in the first round typically. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of if Gobert is shutting Jokic like that, even probably another game or two, the Timberwolves are walking away from this.
Yeah, it does feel like Jokic is bearing this responsibility to coach the team in certain stretches, and he's hit a wall where Rudy Gobert, and I told Angel, like, I don't think Rudy Gobert has figured out Jokic, but he has so much experience facing Jokic throughout the years that he knows at the very least to make him uncomfortable, and just to make every shot and pass more difficult than most centers can in this league. So that's been an issue, but like Jokic does have to be better. Like if you're gonna shoot 10 threes, you can't make two of them. Or if you're gonna get your I think last game was 27 points on 26 shots, you're not winning that way. So it, on him, he has to be better. And then someone around him has to step up either to be great on offense or great on defense because we're just getting mid or nothing for the rest of the team, it feels like. Jamal Murray, tries his best, but you're not going to win a game on two players. A Cam Johnson, a Christian Brown either have to start making shots or don't let Jaden McDaniels eat you alive out there because there are so many plays I just see guy runs past defender and scores. There is so much of that. Like I feel like you could at least limit Julius Randle's ability. Um, Even Dante DiVincenzo was getting his. Someone on that team has to stop someone, and that's just as a Nuggets fan, I bet it's very frustrating because it feels so obvious what to do, and it's just not happening. Maybe they're physically incapable of this, but like what I've seen through the regular season, they should be capable. So something's not clicking.
Yeah. I think I'm more concerned because I've seen every game. Kind of like Eugene said, it is 2-1. It is very early on in the series. But that one win we have was an ugly win. The Timberwolves played so poorly in that first game. And we were playing just somewhat decent. And, like, it looks like the Timberwolves are, like, getting better with every game. And we're getting worse. Like game one, like we got lucky we won that game. We got lucky the Timberwolves were playing like dog shit. Game two, it came down in the final seconds of the fourth quarter. We did just look lost. Game three, we get blown out. We get absolutely destroyed. I am so much more worried. I honestly think if it keeps heading into this direction, we could lose in five, bro. And like, as a Nuggets fan, who's a little bit more realistic than other Nuggets fan, even I didn't see this coming, bro. Like I thought the Timberwolves were gonna give us a hard time, and I was like, low key, it might be Nuggets in 6 or 7, but it's looking like it's gonna be Timberwolves in 5, bro. And it's like that shouldn't happen when you have a guy like Jokic on your team. We won a championship 3 years ago. We went like it looks like we're just regressing, bro, year after year. And I don't know what we're doing, but we just gotta be better, bro.
I mean, I think losing Mike Malone hurt a lot. Um, because like he was the coach that y'all won with, and then even though his coaching style was a little um questionable at times, like he was the one that got y'all to the pinnacle, and then for the Nuggets to just get rid of him like that, the way they did, um, probably hurt the players a lot as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and replace him with that goofy ass on the sideline. Like it's crazy. I don't mind keeping him as interim, but like the fact that we didn't hire a replacement is so wild to me.
Like there wasn't even a search for another coach, right? They just said, "Yeah, you can have the job."
He was
That's what it felt
basically
like.
he was hired like mid playoffs, bro. Like he was basically named head coach mid playoffs. He was the interim in the first round, and I think he was made head coach in the second round. And then we lose to the Thunder. And you know, if we should fire him, but like I don't think we should have kept him in the first place. Oh no, where'd Eugene go?
They got him, bro. They got him.
Yeah, why don't we move on to Sixers Celtics? And since you didn't want to say anything good about the Celtics, bro, that's why.
Yeah.
No,
Um.
two
Yeah.
wins
Celtics
against Embiid.
Sixers. They always give up one or two games that they shouldn't have, and they've gotten the one out the way. It's just a what matter of are they going to give up a second one or not.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's always frustrating when they do this because they are the better team in this scenario.
Oh, for sure.
Uh, I think the only discussion that I feel like Sixers are having is Joel Embiid. Is he coming back or not? I think if you're a Sixers fan, you don't want him to come back because I don't think he's going to be 100%. Um, and he has a history of having a hard time facing against the Celtics in the playoffs. Maybe you can make a consideration that Al Horford's not here and he's been a big problem for Joel Embiid, but Nemias Queta is a very physical guy, and they can throw Vooch or whoever out there. Just big bodies in the paint. Plus all the help defensive schemes they could possibly do to give him trouble. So I think if you're Sixers,
Yeah,
keep him out of it,
I agree.
and just see what VJ and Maxi can do, because they got that one game already. They're very capable of getting a second, and especially if we make Paul George look as good as he has been in the playoffs. Like, it's been very frustrating as a fan to see Paul George get easy looks or even just drive right by to the basket.
Yeah.
That's been an issue. But we're up 2-1, and I expect we got two more wins in us. If we lose first round, I don't know what I'll do. I'm not even gonna think about that. But
Especially to the Sixers.
yeah. Oh, that would be nasty. It'd be like breaking a curse that should never have been broken. Yeah. Other than that, I don't have much to say.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this series as well because I kind of missed every game but the first one. Um, but I will say, from what I have seen, because I do watch highlights, I watch recaps, and then sometimes I'll put on the reviews when I'm working, the replays while I'm working.
Mm.
So Celtics Sixers. Celtics should win this series. I'm not too worried, but I agree 100% what you said about Embiid because right now it looks like Maxi and Edgecombe have found the secret combination, bro. They look so good out there together, bro. Even in that first game with the loss, they still looked really decent playing together. And it looks like if you shove Embiid in there, it's like putting a square in a circle. Like it just feels like you're messing with the chemistry that they're developing right now. Um, like you mentioned, they do still have some pretty solid big guys that can slow him down if he's still somewhat injured. I'm actually very surprised of Kieta, uh,
Kata, yeah.
Keita. Bro, I am very surprised on how he's playing. I was one didn't really. I can't even say I was sleeping on him because I wasn't really even aware of him like that. Like I just kind of thought, oh, that's who they chose to replace Al Horford. Oh, I guess that's cool. Not really aware that he could be the guy that like could fill in those shoes. It looks like it's been a combination of him and Vooch, but like he's out there quite a bit, a lot more than I was expecting. But again, I was not really aware of him like that. And every time he is out there, it looks like he like has a feel for the game pretty well. Um, Jalen Brown, like I said, we kind of called it in our top 25, has been more important than Jason Tatum has. And that could be because Tatum is still like that injury. Like that's not something you can just come back from, even though he did. It's very impressive that he did. But Jalen Brown is looking like the guy right now, and he's been living up to that hype. Um, I think Celtics can win the series. I think Celtics can even go really far. Eugene thinks Celtics are going to win the series, by the way. Um, I'm just very impressed by the Sixers. I just did not expect them to be as good as they have been.
Yeah, even in their losses, they do put up a fight.
Yeah,
Less so in game one, but game three, had its close moments, especially even going in the fourth.
yeah,
But then you can't. You got lucky with game two, and Celtics have an awful shooting night, like a laughably terrible shooting night.
That's always
But
how they
then
lose.
the math works out. Game three happens, and now the important moment comes around.
Yeah.
Game's ticking down, and now they're hitting everything. Doesn't matter if it's Tatum, Pritchard, or what have you. That's just how they beat you. Sometimes you just can't stop it.
Yeah, bro, and like you kind of said just now, they're always gonna have like those games where they just like refuse to stop shooting, and it looks like that's kind of what happened in game two. Um, and so that's just how the Celtics play. They are very much a volume heavy team. Like Joe Mazzulla is never gonna tell them to like relax. Like if they're having a bad night, they're still gonna keep shooting, and sometimes it still works out for them, and sometimes it happens with the Sixers winning the game. Either way, it can go either way sometimes. All right, and then back to the West. Why don't we talk? I feel like nobody wants to talk about Thunder Suns, so let's just go Spurs Blazers. Spurs Blazers. Spurs lead 2-1. How are you feeling about the Spurs? How are you feeling about the Blazers? How do you feel about the series overall?
It's been an unexpectedly fun one because I was watching their game last night and I didn't finish it, but the Trailblazers were up by double digits, I believe.
Yeah,
And then I wake up next day, Spurs won. I'm like, what went down? Because now we're getting like quotes where it's like, or no, Wemby on the sidelines being like, we should have won it in four if I didn't go out. I like to see that from him. I like to see he's always that competitive guy, even if he's on the bench right now.
yeah,
But I think I've been shocked with the fight the Trailblazers have been putting up because I didn't know what to expect. Like I did feel the Spurs were the favorite here, but I think I've said in the past, have enough weapons offensively and defensively to be a threat to anyone. It's just like this is their first time being in the playoffs in however long.
yeah,
Um, I think bright spots. It's really good to see Drew Holiday, you know, perform as well as he is, not just on defense but on offense.
yeah,
It feels like he knows what's being asked of him, and it's been a heavier workload than his last year in the Celtics. It kind of felt like he got diminished at that point, and here he's found like a new light. And then Denny is been a positive force for good, and then Donovan Clingan, not always a stat stuffer, but he is excellent on defense. Um, and what I saw of him last night with Wemby gone, it looked like he was like a very big problem. So I wonder what they're going to do to adjust moving forward. As far as the Spurs go, Eugene might be right with Stephon Castle. Like up until this game, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle have been having some similar stat lines, but then last night Stephon Castle just took over. I think he had a 30 piece or something like that.
he did.
And yeah, it's just I don't know what he saw, but it's really showing out now. Um, Not that I'm mad De'Aaron Fox is like a second option around this point, but if it's winning games, I don't think anyone can be mad on the Spurs.
Yeah, yeah, bro. The Spurs are looking fucking terrifying. Like you have Wemby out, you still keep it close in game two. You blow the Spurs out the next game without Wemby. You have Luke Cornett stepping in for him. Not that Cornett's a bad player, but like that's definitely like 3 tiers down, bro. Like that's like a pretty far cry from Wemby. He goes out there, still performs at a high level. Stephon Castle goes out of his mind. Fuck, Dylan Harper off the bench scoring like 20 something. Like this is a game where I only put on because I was like, might as well. Like, let's see if they can survive without Wemby. Yeah, bro. They can survive without Wemby. Like it's not even a question. It's crazy how well the Spurs played. And like you mentioned, like the Blazers are no one to laugh at. Like they did have a significant lead at one point. Drew Holiday has found a different gear, showing more of that offensive capabilities. Danny still having a pretty solid game, but like
Even Scoot, like
yes,
I was off the Scoot train, pretty well into last season, but he's had his best games in the playoffs.
yeah, bro. He and even the play-ins, like he's been looking
Right.
so good this postseason. So it's nothing to laugh at. Like the Portland Trailblazers are putting up such a significant fight against the Spurs, but all this series is doing is showing me how terrifying the Spurs actually are. When Wemby is down for the count and they're still blowing out teams and are still performing at a high level. Um, yeah, Wemby very confident. I love that he said it would be 4-0 if I didn't go out. It probably would have, but like these are two teams where next year I'm looking at a completely different lens. Both the Spurs and the Portland Trailblazers. Spurs because you would think Wemby is a reason for everything. I was never one of those people that Wemby was the sole reason why they're so much better. I kind of always said the Aaron Fox would help. Keldon Johnson's always been solid, but like they're scary. Blazers are looking like they might be on an up and up. If Scoot Henderson can keep doing what he's doing, if Denny can keep doing what he's doing, but yeah, like all around, this series has been a lot better than what I thought it would be, and the Spurs are looking a lot better than I thought they would be. So all right, just because they're still playing, I'm gonna go straight into Cavalier Raptors. Even though arguably this could be one of the most boring series in the playoffs right now, Cavaliers have a 2-1 lead. How are you feeling about the Cavs? How are you feeling about the Raptors? How are you feeling about the series as a whole?
I okay. The Raptors kept their season alive. Great. That's more than what the Rockets did. But I still feel very confident the Cavs take this pretty easily. I want to
Yeah,
say it may wrap up in five. I think Raptors are gonna have to put up a huge fight if they wanted to go six. Um, just the Cavs look like they've been here before. As much as they've fallen short in the past, all these guys have seen playoff time. They know what's going down, and they just look more confident. Raptors, I'll say Scotty Barnes was really good in the last game, at least defending Harden, because it felt like they didn't really have an answer for Harden in the prior games. But he was able to disrupt. It's very lucky and fortunate the Raptors have a guy who can defend any position
yeah,
and who just so happens to be their star player. I think a guy that's kind of been disastrous has been Brandon Ingram. I don't know what you do with him because after game one, he's frustrated. He's like, oh, I'm just a screener. Game two, you feed him and he's not making shots. And game three, he didn't feel like a big contributor, to be honest. And I don't know what you do with him moving forward.
yeah,
Like, he feels like a volume scorer. And if he's not, scoring at the volume he likes to shoot it at, he's like a non factor. He's not chasing crazy rebounds. He's not a lockdown defender. It's just I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that situation is gonna turn into. But shout out RJ Barrett, bro. I've always doubted him in the past, but he's had some good showings.
yeah. RJ Barrett has been really fun to watch this postseason. I think he's been very fun this whole season. It's just a lot of people are kind of picking up on it now. Scotty Barnes, like you said, like you can make fun of the man all you want. He's an all star. He's like the star of his team, and he went out and proved it this postseason. I think another guy I'm kind of disappointed in is Podol. I kind of at one point wanted Podol on the Nuggets. Ever since he went back to the Raptors, he just looks like another European center out there, bro. He doesn't really blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
He's not bad. At times, but he just looks like another European center. Slow, can play make here and there, and then like can get an easy basket if you're not on your shit. Um, the Cavs, on the other hand, I don't think that loss makes me worried at all. Um, I think they're doing a really good job at just like utilizing what they have. The Harden Mitchell combo has been really fun this series. I do think this series has been boring in the sense of like it's going out the way I expected, where it's just mostly Harden Mitchell just kind of taking turns popping off, and then like everyone else picking up the things they can't do. Mobley playing on defense, Allen, just being a constant paint threat. I'm so sad that Brandon Ingram isn't doing good, and that he's throwing like a temper tantrum during it because like this is a guy who realistically we've been wanting to shine almost his entire career. Sorry, who's been we've been wanting to shine his entire career. Is finally somewhat healthy for a postseason. Has a chance to really show, that he still has it. And instead of like taking the opportunity to do so, he's complaining. He's playing poorly, and he's just been an all around non-factor, and that kind of sucks, bro. Because like realistically, I've been wanting. I like he should be the one stealing this series a little bit more. You know, like realistically, if anyone should be surprising us, it should be Brandon Ingram. He should be the one who's next to Scotty Barnes, like stealing away games. Instead, it's R.J. Barrett, who I'm not mad about. I've been a fan of him, but still, like I just think it's kind of wild that like this series could be very different if he was also playing well.
Yeah, the only solution I can think of like using him as is like a spot up shooter, but that's not really his game. Like he doesn't even take all that many threes per game,
No, he doesn't.
and he's not a bad shooter per se, but like it's yeah, big question mark for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, and then to the West, which they're only in game two. I'm pretty sure. Game three is tonight or this afternoon, depending on where you're at. But game three is happening here soon, so they're one of the few series not in game three. Um, Thunder are out in front, 2-0. How are you feeling about the Thunder? How are you feeling about the Suns?
Uh, I can't bother watching a full game of this series. It's pretty ugly,
Yeah,
and to the Thunder's benefit, they are just the better team flat out. But I see the frustration from Devin Booker. You know, Thunder plays so physical for getting so little fouls.
yeah,
And that other night where Devin Booker got a tech for throwing the ball back, trying to save it, is ridiculous. That play happens, 1,000 times throughout a season. This is the first time I'm seeing it become a tech just because it hits another player. I do hate seeing the Thunder's player yapping and complaining like that should be a tech, that should be a tech. It feels a little exploitative of the rules. Um, but this series should wrap up in four at the end of the day. So
yeah.
does any of it really matter? I don't know.
Could have said it better myself. Yeah, bro. I will say you gotta stop falling for it, bro. When are we gonna learn? Like we see it time after time. The Timberwolves were a victim of it, and now the Suns are a victim of it. You know this is how they play. You know that it's gonna go this way, and you take the bait. You can't keep letting them get into your heads, and it like I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one out there getting called for a tech. I'm not the one like barely touching a guy and him getting a free throw. I understand that, but like bro. You can't play into it, and it looks like the Suns are playing into it, bro. Devin Booker is literally looking so frustrated that entire game too, and it comes down to that boiling point. And like I feel like ever since that moment, it was like that's when I knew that the Suns were gonna win a single game was when that moment happened, and it was just chaos from there on out. Like could have maybe stolen a game, maybe, but it's definitely not happening now, bro. It's definitely not happening now. And I get why people are mad, the controversy around it, and like I get that people are sick of it, but like it's been in our game for so long now. Like people are saying like the Thunder are like foul baiters and it's never been this bad before. We're at an all time high. People are saying that about LeBron, bro, in like 2017. Oh my god, the flopping is so bad nowadays. Oh blah blah. Like bro, this has been a problem in the league this entire time. It's just now that it's the MVP and the number one seed in the West, it looks a lot worse than it really is. Because like, let's be honest, they're saying that they're rigging it for the Thunder. What you think the NBA is gonna rig the finals for the small ass market team in Oklahoma? Like, no, bro. Let's be fucking honest. Like, yes, they're the best team in the league, but I bet you that the Lakers still make 4 times the money than the Thunder do. Like, I don't think the NBA is rigging the game so the Thunder can move on, bro. Because the Suns wouldn't have a chance in the first place. Like, it's just like this series and these games are so ugly, and I can't wait for it to be over. I really can't.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone thinks the Suns have a chance. They just don't have the personnel. Like
Yeah,
it, you go Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks are probably your most reliable guys.
yeah,
Funnily enough, because I was never a Dylan Brooks fan, but here he is. And then Jalen Green, to rely on Jalen Green, especially against the Thunder, is pretty sorry. And then it's a bunch of role players who have like outdone themselves to get to this point.
yeah,
That's why the Suns have been so successful. But they just don't stack up well against the deep roster of the Thunder.
yeah,
Um, I think the foul baiting stuff is blown more or is exploding more in this series because not Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker is known as like an ethical hooper. Like he makes the tough shots. If he's going to the free throw line, it's because he got hacked or all this stuff versus the Thunder who have the know how to get these easy free throws. But even in the last game, I think the free throws were pretty even for the most part.
yeah,
So I can't even say like that's the reason they're losing. It's just big bro versus little bro in this scenario.
yeah.
Like you just can't do much about it.
And the shit that Thunder are doing are shit I would do against my little brother, like faking to get hit as well. Like, faking my elbow, snitching on Devin Booker to the ref, like, like it really does feel like, little bro versus big bro. Yeah, I think it is getting blown out of proportion. But like, let's be honest, guys. Give the Thunder no free throws whatsoever, they would still win in five. Like, let's be honest now. Like, this is not a series that should be getting as much attention as it is. But like, people love to hate good teams and good players, I guess. And then moving on to Pistons Magic, which is happening right now. They're in Game Three, um, and this is probably the most concerning series in my opinion. Pistons are actually down right now. Magic are up 94-79. The series is tied 1-1. Magic got the first game. Pistons got the second game. How are you feeling about this series? How are you feeling about these teams?
Well, I think you and me expressed our worries about Jalen Duren being like the second best player because he's just a traditional center and he needs Cade to feed him the ball to be effective.
Yeah,
And I didn't expect this to be an issue so soon.
yeah,
I thought it'd been a second round type of deal because I didn't believe in the Magic like that. But it's looking like Magic will go up 2-1, and then like Jalen Duren will still be a question all series long about whether you can get him effective. But like all the other players also haven't been supporting Cade Cunningham the way they've been doing all regular season long. Um, like yeah, you'll get like a 10-point game here from Tobias Harris, but it honestly just needs to be more. You need more out of the guys.
yeah,
Otherwise, like why did you fight for so long through 82 games to get that first seed? And now, look, you've lost home court advantage.
yeah,
You've put yourself in this position, and it's really tough to crawl out, especially since the Magic, have been in the playoffs before. They've never made it out the first round, but Paolo's been here before. Whereas Cade has that one series last year where this was a similar issue where it was only him versus the team they're going against. So I would have hoped all these new additions and roster changes and the coaching change would have bolstered this team, but they're running into old issues again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is a very concerning series for another reason too. Is that game two win? They had to go on a 30-3 win run to win that game, which is very impressive. Don't get me wrong. Going on a 30-3 run is like not every team can do that. But the fact that they had to do that to win game two is crazy, bro. Like this is a team that is actually fighting for their lives against the Magic, bro. And they're the first seed. And I told this to Vaughn before we started the podcast. One of my original topic ideas for the postseason was ranking each team in the playoffs. 1 to 16. Um, and I'm glad we did it because I would have had the Magic as my 16th ranked team. I thought they were the worst team in the playoffs, worse than the Suns. Like I thought the Suns were barely better than them, but I thought the Magic were by far the worst team in the playoffs. And now they're going toe to toe with the one seed, and not only that, but the one seed is the team on the back foot this entire series. Cade Cunningham is doing everything he can, but like there's no one else out there on the floor that's really showing me that they deserve to be on the first seeded team. Like Jalen Duren, like you said, we had concerns, but I was more on the opposite end, where like yes, you had concerns and you think that's why they might fall short. I had concerns. I thought they would figure it out and it wouldn't really harm them as much as you thought. I was fucking wrong. It's harming them a lot more than I would have expected. I thought this would come back to bite them maybe in the conference finals, not in the first fucking round. And I don't know if it's inexperience. I don't know if it's constant roster shakeups or coaching change-ups. I don't know if it's because they don't really have a deep bench, but they did all season long. They had a deep bench, so like it's just looking like the the Magic just came in wanting it more. It honestly is what it looks like, bro. And the Pistons, everyone but Cade is looking like they're looking like the sorry team. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like I think the Rockets look very sorry, and it's concerning. But I think the reason why the Pistons and Magic is a lot more concerning is because like this is a team that should be going to the conference finals technically. Like we should be talking about this team kind of struggling maybe a lot later than they are. They shouldn't be struggling so early on.
Yeah, and it's looking like a Magic team all season long have struggled with 3-point shot, but if you let Desmond Bain, get hot, he's going to eat you alive. Especially if, your best shooter is Duncan Robinson, who's
Yeah,
not Desmond Bain, I'm afraid. But like what we should have expected the Magic to be the worst 3-point shooting team, all of a sudden now the Pistons look uglier on that end. And the coach has to figure something out to change that.
yeah. Like the Pistons just look just like poor on every level. You talk about Paolo being poor shooter. He's really good at bully ball, but like he's looking like he's just walking through this defense at times. Like he's really bullying the hell out of that Pistons interior, and like I don't know, bro. Like I'm just flabbergasted. I'm like I'm just so shocked because like this shouldn't be a series that's going the way it is, bro. Like it really shouldn't. And I think like this is a series that like I think everyone had an idea of how it was gonna go, and it's been just completely 180. Where like if the Magic win today, which like the game is on 84-99 now, like where do the Pistons go from here? Like if you look
Right.
like you can't be the one seed on the back foot, bro. Like what do you change? Like how do you stop them? Because like it's not necessarily that the Magic are playing a lot better, which they are, but it's also like the Pistons are playing a lot worse than I thought they would.
Yeah, like you're the one seed losing to a team who had rumors they're firing their coach regardless of what happens this season.
Yeah, bro.
Like there's no expectations for this Magic team and they're embarrassing you out there. Like that can't happen. You lose first round, I don't know what changes for your team.
Yeah, bro. It's bad. Yeah, yeah, like you said, rumors that the head coach is getting fired, got blown out by the Sixers, played 2 extra games, like, like it's crazy. It's really, really wild. All right. Well, who knows? Maybe by the time we put this podcast out, the Detroit Pistons go on another 30-3 run and they win this series in this game. We really don't know. There's still 5 minutes left and they're only down by 10. So they could theoretically make a comeback. But the fact that we're saying that they could make a comeback is still wild. Like, it's crazy that we're talking about the Pistons having to win by coming back from behind against the Orlando Magic, bro.
Maybe it'll be a good rally if they pull it off and they could just put the series away after that, but I think it my expectations are lowered for them moving forward regardless if
Yeah,
they're struggling in round 1. I think they were should have been a contender lock, but yeah, maybe they're just not that.
yeah, yeah, bro. And it's crazy that we're saying that first round of the playoffs.
Right.
Like first round of the playoffs, game three, we're looking at the Pistons in a completely different light. Well, that's our talks today. Like I don't know if you noticed, but we are going back to weekly for now, just because we got schedules aligned. We're very busy people. Vaughn is trying to cure cancer at the moment. Um, Eugene is traveling the world, and I just got done working 50 hours for 3 months straight. So like we've all been very busy, but we're gonna try to go back to weekly to cover the playoffs and really just talk about what's going down. If you are listening on podcast platforms, give us that good old 5 stars. Leave a review. We're also on YouTube, so make sure for that video format you like and subscribe there. We're on all social media platforms at Spin the Rock for clips, episode updates, all that good stuff. We really do appreciate you tuning in. Let us know what series is surprising, not surprising. Let us know what you're tuning into. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week.